It's been 3 years since Resident Evil Village dropped, and it's just hit a massive milestone, only hit by another 2 Resident Evil games. What's up, guys? Andy here from Biohazard Declassified, and let's enter the survival horror once again and talk about Resident Evil Village hitting 10 million sales.
Biohazard.
So not only becoming the 3rd game to break 10 million sales, it becomes the fastest game in the series history to hit 10 million sold. So huge shout out to IGN for this article, noting that if you wanted to know, the games ahead of it are Resident Evil 7 Biohazard with 13.3 million units, and topping is Resident Evil 2 Remake with 13.9 million. And I feel like this figure's probably going to go up because they have just announced, like Resident Evil 7 actually, they've just announced it going on the Apple Silicon devices, so your iPhones, your Macs, etc., your iPads, etc. So I expect that figure to creep up a little bit. But going back to Village, man, this is really, really interesting. Village was a really unique game because obviously it was the 8th entry in the series, but it had such massive crossover into mainstream, in my opinion. Like, this was the first time, you know, I've been obviously covering Resident Evil for many, many years. This was the first time, like, I was seeing this in like my friends and family's feed, who like play games but not necessarily massive Resident Evil fans, all talking about Lady Dimitrescu. Lady Dimitrescu was huge for Capcom's marketing, and to the point, I remember actually playing Resident Evil Village and obviously when defeating the Dimitrescu boss, I was like, well, was that it? Like, is there not more to this? Because it really, like, in the marketing, and this could have been, I appreciate, unintentional. Maybe Capcom didn't know that the marketing for Lady Dimitrescu was just going to blow Village through the roof. But yeah, I remember playing it and I was like, man, is Dimitrescu not like the main boss? But I guess it's Mother Miranda, etc., etc. Yeah, really, it's a really good game. I'd never feel like I'm in a rush to go back and play Resident Evil Village. I often say this on stream, but it's an exceptional survival horror game. It was really, especially with Resident Evil 7, keeping it real simple when it came to Ethan, because the idea is that it's in first person. You are meant to be Ethan Winters. That's why they gave him very, very little backstory, very, very little dialogue in it, in my opinion. With Resident Evil Village, they kind of flipped that on its head a little bit, and I actually really liked Ethan as a character at the end of it, just like a dad who absolutely gave everything for his daughter and his family. It's really, really, really wholesome story, and obviously loved seeing the kind of faux heel turn of Chris Redfield at the start. That was very nice. I remember the lead up to that, like, whoa, Chris Redfield's a bad character. This has never been attempted outside of Resident Evil, outside of this has never been attempted in Resident Evil outside of that the E3 trailer for Resident Evil Revelations. We've never seen this evil Chris Redfield. But yeah, they kind of, like, you know, pushed the heel turn out there, and all was not as it seemed, of course, at the end. But yeah, Resident Evil Village is an exceptional game. If you haven't played it, I do recommend playing it even once. But I am happy. Like, I'm not sure what the plan for Resident Evil Village was long term. Or excuse me, the Ethan Winters storyline long term before they canned it with the DLC. And I wasn't really a massive fan of Shadows of Rose. Again, that was like a one playthrough. It had some real good bits in it, especially with like the mannequin dolls, where you couldn't like look at them or they'd run up behind you. For example, that was really, really good. But the whole like mystical power stuff, I wasn't really about all that. But exceptional DLC gave me a reason to go back and play Village, I guess. The implementation, and I didn't do this too good actually. The implementation of third person and first person, like, there are bits in the game that could be like, so the main campaign you can play as third person for as part of the DLC. Mercenaries is only in first person. You can't play that in third person. And Shadows of Rose is third person, and you can't play it in first person. It's been a little while since I played it, but I'm assuming that's still as is. Because I remember when Shadows of Rose first dropped, I was like, man, why have they done this like this? That's really arse about face. Like, be all in like Resident Evil 7 was with first person, or be third person like the remakes. Like, that's what Capcom have got to figure out moving forward, what they want to do with that. Do they want a first person Resident Evil or a third person, or just to go Grand Theft Auto 5? Just go Grand Theft Auto 5 and just make it multiply accessible, because I have comments in my chat. People love the first person. People absolutely hate the first person. You can't really win, unfortunately. But yes, going back to Village, absolutely massive achievement for the team. Hopefully it's a sign of things to come with Resident Evil 9, whether that follows on from the Winters storyline. I highly doubt that it would. It's probably going to follow Chris Redfield and Hound Wolf Squad, I would have thought. But if that's a sign of things to come, I'm super excited. And yeah, I can't wait to see what Resident Evil are cooking for us next. But this achievement can't be overstated. This is massive for Capcom. 3 games now breaking the 10 million mark sold, and for Resident Evil Village to hit the fastest game in the series to hit 10 million is pretty unbelievable. I do feel like this is only a temporary achievement. This is only like a transitional achievement, because I do see Resident Evil 4 Remake absolutely obliterating the, what is it, 3 years, or just over 3 years has taken Village to do this. And I think Resident Evil 4 Remake is probably going to do it in either half the time or in 2 years. So let's see. I mean, it's good for everyone. The more Resident Evil games are sold, the more Resident Evil games are going to be developed. I mean, it's simple economics, really. But let me know your thoughts, guys. What did you think of Resident Evil Village? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it deserves to have sold 10 million copies? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, as always. If you love this video, guys, I'd really appreciate if you dropped a like on it, and of course drop a cheeky follow. If you don't know who I am, my name's Andy. This is Biohazard Declassified. I'm a dedicated Resident Evil content creator, do a lot of streams, memes, daily Resident Evil content across socials. So if you love what you're seeing today, make sure you follow us on all of your socials. Thanks again for tuning into the video, and hopefully we'll see you very, very soon. You take care.